Before the video gets started, this video is brought to you by absolutely no one. So if you want to support us on Patreon. Thank you to these patrons for supporting us, and join the Discord if you like. Thank you. It comes with idolizing, and it comes to the way that we look at these famous TikTokers who do dances and stuff. With TikTok, I was hoping facts. I was hoping
this is so funny.
That because of TikTok and how many kids are becoming famous, so many people are famous.
Yeah.
And they're getting all these numbers, they're getting followers, they're getting all this stuff, and they're feeling the effects of being famous and what it does to you and what you have to deal with in those scenarios. I thought that it would cause the average kid to realize, oh, these people are just normal. And
people.
They're not that big of a deal.
Normal ass
And I was
people,
hoping that it would make them lower their idea and
sure.
kind of humble their sort of idea of these celebrities.
Treat them more like humans rather than celebrities.
Gods.
Yeah.
And the problem is that because we're so prideful, because the average person has so much pride, we as a people saw it as an opportunity to raise ourselves up in status, to get closer to where they were. So celebrities didn't become less idols. We became more idols. We became more like the idols.
Interesting.
So us as people have kind of raised ourselves up to where we think that we have all the say. Just like how when something goes wrong, people go to Charli D'Amelio and they're like, use your platform, do this, do that. Because they think they're like right next to her all of a sudden. They're like, use your platform and do this and do that and do that. I just heard about this thing in the black community and I want you to talk about it. She dances. It's like I want someone who knows the subject to talk, and I want them to be given a platform. I do not want this girl with a platform who's not doing anything in regards to that to talk about it. I don't want this. It's like, honestly, and that's the problem, is that a lot of kids and a lot of people on the internet have raised themselves up to this standard. They've raised themselves up to this idol standard, this God standard, and then they're just like, they're expecting more from the average person now. They're expecting so much, as if everyone's famous. They think your opinion matters so much. All this stuff. It's crazy.
You know my two little cousins? The two girls, you know, those, my twins.
They're not even that little. How old are they now?
Oh my God, bro. I don't even mention it, bro. Yeah. One's 13 and she's in middle school, and the other one is, I think, 11. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you've known them. We've known them since they were born, you know, type shit. And, you know, if they're watching this, shout out my little twins. They be telling me that, like, 13-year-olds and 12-year-olds be getting canceled, like at school. Like let's say a 13-year-old conservative posts some shit like anti-BLM type shit. It will get screenshotted and then put on social media, and they will get canceled.
So interesting.
Isn't that odd?
Yeah, we would have been canceled.
We would have been canceled. I would have been canceled in a minute.
Yeah, no, actually, when I was 12, 13, 14, like
absolutely.
Age from 12 all the way to 17, I would have been canceled. There's no way. There's no way I would have made
18, we're
it.
like,
yeah, I was like 16. No, 17.
Wait a minute.
I would have been canceled. 18, maybe. It's a possibility, actually. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, no, definitely not. That's tough.
It is tough because, like, if let's say you're raised in a conservative family, like that's all you know. Like you start forming your own opinions, like in high school, because then other people have really strong opinions, and you're like, wait, blah blah blah.
Definitely.
You know, and these 13-year-olds don't know anything other than what their parents like shove down their throats. Yeah. So it's hard to think like these 13-year-olds are getting their life ruined. You feel me? Because they said, go Trump or some bullshit like that. I don't know.
Who cares?
He's 13. Don't mind me. Hey, no, carry on.
Yeah, keep going. I'm just milking my Capri Sun.
Wow, that is messy.
It is, right?
Messy! Go! Go! Chilena pizza Messi.
I actually wrote something down about this because I saw someone say, let's un-normalize having a racist past. The reason they said that was because they were annoyed at the fact that a lot of white people would say stuff like, oh my God, I used to do this, or I used to say this, and it would make them uncomfortable. Because, yeah, that is very uncomfortable. When you say something to a black person where you're like, oh my God, 2016 me would have hated you, or something like that. It's like,
oh my God,
I don't want to hear that.
My parents would hate if I brought you home.
Like, I don't want to hear that. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's like it's like you're trying to like, and not only are you trying to like appease to me, but you're also like making just, it's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
You could, and I think anyone can see how that would be uncomfortable. But their solution was, let's unnormalize having a racist past. And I wrote a thing because I wanted to say this properly, because I'm going to say something that a lot of people are not going to like.
Hot take.
So it is a hot take. So it's I'm just gonna read this, and I want you to try your best.
You're prefacing
to
this a
follow
lot.
along. I know I'm prefacing this a lot, but it's the best way that I could put this. Okay. The only way for more people to understand the black struggle is by forgiving those who may have been complicit in the black struggle.
There you go.
And I'm going to keep it real with young people for a second. Your inability to forgive those who change from bad to good, from ignorant to educated, from racist to not, are keeping black people from being successful. Most consumers are white in America. And no matter how much it may hurt your pride, we need white people. More importantly, we need white people to change, and not letting them change is doing no good for anybody. We all agree that racism is evil. Not every person is created equal. Some people are born into a family of white people, into a neighborhood of white people, into a school full of white people, with no opportunity to experience black people. Those in this situation, you would agree, are more likely to become racist than someone born in a black neighborhood, simply because there is less incentive and a smaller chance of encountering someone of the sort. So since that's the case, our only way of reaching them is through spreading awareness. And in 2020, so many people have become aware of the black struggle, and so many others are becoming fearful of black people. And it seems we don't know the difference. And the reason why I'm scared of people making blackness seem like this thing that they should be afraid of, which, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say that it's something that they're afraid of, I'm talking about pages like Impact. Pages like Impact will post these things that...
I don't know what that is.
Impact, it's like when you look at a white girl story nowadays, it has something that's about racism or it's about something, Impact is one of those pages. It's super popular, verified, got thousands and thousands of followers, but it's owned by a white person. Most of these pages are owned by white people. So they're speaking about struggles that they don't relate to, and they're speaking about all these, instances of racism and oppression, or LGBTQ plus oppression, and so many different things.
And they're straight white.
And they're most likely straight white people, straight white men even. And here's a couple of the posts as an example where I just want to give you perspective into why this bugs me or why this is just not okay. The first one says, reminder, you are not being oppressed when another group gains rights that you have always had. So that's what it says. That's all the post says, and it has no other post next to it. And for the average person, it's kind of confusing. It's like, I'm not sure what struggle you're talking about right now. I don't know who or what caused that.
It's very ambiguous.
Super open-ended. Yeah. So the reason why that's a problem is because the only people that are going to understand this post are the people who agree with it. Someone who doesn't agree with this or doesn't understand or isn't educated doesn't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
So what was the intention of posting it? The answer was preaching to the choir. You were only preaching to those who already agreed, who already felt that way. You just wanted to boost them up and make them feel some type of way and, get you more followers, make them post it on their story. Because it seems badass. It looks all nice and pretty, and it looks all reminder, this. And it's like kind of, it's like, oh yeah, I'm tough. Rather than loving and educating those people, because that's the only way anyone learns is through love and education. How often do we complain about teachers who are mean and say that it's their fault whenever we don't understand something? How often do we do that?
Was anyone's favorite teacher the mean one that got mad at you because you raised your hand and asked a stupid question? No, your favorite teacher is the one that showed you love and compassion.
And a lot of the times, the only thing you remember from those teachers is how mean they were or how bad they were, how much they did this. I remember I had a teacher who cried a lot. She would cry in class. Like, we were bad kids, but we were freshmen, and she cried often. And that's all I remember from that class, is that she cried, and she would just be sad all the time. And I'm like, why are you crying? And it was just so weird.
Why are you a high school teacher?
This old woman crying about these kids that are bugging her and stuff. And it was just like, that's all I remember. I don't remember anything else from the class besides she cried and she gave too much homework and it upset me and it made me feel like shit. And I was just like, oh,
so
this
negatives.
Class sucks. No teaching. She didn't teach us anything. And it's like, this is an English teacher. She didn't teach something, books. You know what I mean? Like, this is where you educate a kid.
So
but I didn't get educated in that classroom. I didn't. So with that understanding, with all of us understanding that that's the way that you learn. Now, what was the purpose of posting this? It wasn't to educate.
Absolutely
it wasn't
not.
to change anybody.
Nothing at all.
It wasn't even to make an impact. And that's the name of the page.
Whoa.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to make an impact. It was just made to make people who agree with it feel kind of prideful and feel like they're up there and they're in the right. I'm right. I'm correct.
About.
Right? And it's just like, why are you trying to boost their ego? And the next one that I saw, this one pissed me off, bro. And it's not even they didn't even say anything completely wrong. Blues came from black culture. Jazz came from black culture. Rock and roll came from black culture. Funk, soul, hip hop, disco, house, techno, jungle, drum and bass, garage, grime, dubstep came from black culture. And in the bottom in tiny text it says, the next time you listen, remember where it came from. Now, I saw this and I was furious. What the fuck were they trying to get across? Who the fuck were they talking to? Who the fuck are you talking to? If someone said that to me, if someone made a post about fucking anything, was just like, this came from white people made planes. White people made this. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. I'd be like, I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? It's just like, this does is appeal to fucking white people who want to seem like they love black people. And they're like,
I love the dubstep.
I love dubstep. Did you know black people made it?
Skrillex? You know, Skrillex was influenced by black people.
Facts. And it's like, why do they want white people to hate us so much?
I don't know.
That's the only thing I could think
weird.
is like, why does this page that's owned by a white person want white people to hate black people so much? Because this makes me feel so fucking bad. It's like, of course it came from a black, like maybe a black person made this, but it's like, it's an art form. First of all, it's art. So it's like discrediting like
everyone.
Bro, Skrillex?
Yeah.
Deadmau5? Bro, like don't discredit those people, bro.
They just retired. Daft Punk?
It's like, don't discredit like that there's amazing people that do it. And I hate to sound like a conservative, but it has nothing to do with their race. No. They were a part of something that was very cool. Yeah. And even hip hop, right? It's like hip hop is great, but will I ever go to someone like Jack Harlow and hate him for it because he's white? No, he's doing a good ass job. He's good. And he's funny and he's a nice guy.
And he's charismatic. He's chill. He
How could you hate him? He's a part of it, and he's a part of everything. Mm-hmm. So when I see this, when I see that a white person owns this account, and when I see that they post stuff like this, I can't help but to think that the agenda no longer is to educate and to make people know stuff more, or like help people who are down below and maybe racist or a little right leaning, or even just white in a white area.
Yeah,
I feel like their only intention is to push people apart. Because the more
it does look like it wants
the more that the more that you separate people and the more that you make people feel like they're on a side, then the more that they'll support your page, the more they'll post you. Because I want you to think about this. I'm gonna ask for some critical thinking really quick. If their main source of income is people posting them on their stories, and their main source of attention is getting people to post them and at people and comment and get all rowdy in the comments, right? Because people get upset and like the post and share it with people that they disagree with and do all this nonsense.
Yeah.
Why would they educate? It would just make them lose followers.
Yeah.
They would lose income. They would lose
their whole
everything.
Page would lose its meaning, really. There would be no need.
It would be useless.
Yeah.
There's no use for it.
Huh.
Why would they do that?
That makes sense.
They're a verified page who obviously have some sort of income. They have they're doing this because they make money somehow. Like they make the links and bios and stuff. People can. Oh my God! Could you imagine how many people pay them to post something? I can't even imagine. Imagine.
That's real. Yeah.
And imagine the money that you could get from posting on something like that. Yeah. Crazy.
And the amount of people that it will
affect.
Like,
it would affect.
It would have a huge influence.
It would change so many people. And it's just, I don't know. It's something where I just worry because not many people have just critical thinking, like just simple thoughts where they're like if I don't know how to say this, but like
why did they post this? Like, but honestly, not because
genuinely why? Like, what's the good? What's the fruit that's being made from this? Like, is it growing anything? Like, is it helping anyone understand? Mm-hmm. Like, if I was to be told this from a completely unknown perspective, what would it do to me? Yeah. Like, what would it make me think?
I would think like, well, black people didn't do everything.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And that's the response that usually happens.
Yeah.
Is that you get like, white people made iPhone. White people made, you know, that's all. That's literally all the response. White people made planes and iPhone. So BuzzFeed has another page. I think this is their other page. It's called Worth Feed. It's called Worth Feed. Yeah. Okay. And they posted something that's really funny. And the reason why I think it's funny is because it reminds me of something that would be posted on iFunny from a conservative point of view. And I want you to look at it. I want you to tell me if you know what I'm thinking of when I see this post. A few days ago, a photograph of an American model, Kendall Jenner, because we don't know who that is, in a swimsuit went viral. Not really viral. It just got a lot of likes. Yeah. Showing what for many is the perfect body in a woman. On the right, a photograph of Alyssa Carson, the 19-year-old astronaut who became the youngest person in history to overcome all NASA's aerospace test. And basically, the whole post was, this deserves more attention than her. Like, this girl, this 19-year-old girl, deserves more attention than Kendall Jenner. Yeah. And that was the post. Okay. And I couldn't help but think that it sounded exactly like the conservative post where it just says, naked girls can get thousands of likes. How much can I get our troops? Our troops. Bring our troops home. How many likes can our troops get? Yeah. And it literally sounds exactly like that. It plays in the exact same way. It sounds exact. It's like, of course, a picture of Kendall Jenner is going to get popular.
And you know what? They went as far as to say, this is the ideal body. But look, if you expect any girl's body to look like this, you are going to die alone. Okay?
Facts.
Because this is not real. No. Okay? No. And it's like, yeah, it looks good, but it's like people don't understand, like, when you really, like, I'm gonna get a little deeper, like, when you really love somebody and really have that type of relationship, like,
it thins away.
Flesh does not matter.
Vapors away. It literally disappears. You're like, literally, I don't care.
Bro, someone could be repulsive. You fall in love with them, and they're just yummy now. Bro, like they look like that now. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And people don't understand that because they don't let themselves go that deep.
Yeah, because it's easier to just fall for like the short end thing. Yeah,
and then say shit like, "Whoa, I want all girls to look like Kendall Jenner." It's like, bro, look at yourself first. Like, look at yourself first. What did Jesus say in that parable? Like, how are you going to try to take the speck out of someone else's eye without...
Have a log. When you have a log in your eye. It's like, how are you going to look at the speck in someone else's eye when you have a log inside of yours?
Exactly.